Hey, and welcome to the latest edition of the Mind Body Health Podcast with me, Dave Sheahan, high performance consultant, and here to help you in any way I possibly can in regaining control of the mind body health area of your life. Why? Because not only do you feel amazing and empowered when you have control of the mind, body, and health, but also has a positive catalytic impact on all areas of your life. That's why I'm so passionate about this area. This is why I stress to people so much that they need to put a focus on it. And I'm here through the Mind Body Health Podcast as one of my methods to educate you, motivate, and hopefully inspire you in regaining control of it. This is the first podcast of 2021. 2020 was quite a year for all of us. We all were impacted in one way or another. 2021 looks like it's going to be another interesting year. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas, and I want to wish you the happiest of New Year's in 2021. I'm wishing you much success and much happiness. You may hear that and think, don't know how that's going to happen with what 2021 is looking like. But what I want to stress to you, like in this particular episode, I'm going to stress to you that you need to focus on your life, what you can do, what you can achieve. Of course, there's stuff going on in the world. The world is a madhouse right now. There's some crazy stuff going on. It's complete insanity. The way people are being forced to live, the restrictions, what's being enforced is all incredible. And I could do hours and hours of podcasts on my own thoughts on it, but I'm not going to go into that right now. But what I want to focus on with you is, yes, your life is being impeded to some degree, but it's all about the reaction. Okay, you need to focus on the reaction. I'm completely pissed off with a lot of aspects of what's happening right now, as well as for the last 10 months. And I've been vocal enough about it online and across social media. But at the same time, while stuff's going on and while you're being impacted, you also have to see it. Look, it is what it is. There's some things you can work with and just keep going, doing what you want to do. And there's some things you can't. You just have to work around them, work through them, or change your path, change your direction. And this is what you need to do in life when there's challenges and when there's obstacles. You need to find a way around. Sometimes you need to reinvent yourself. Sometimes you need to learn how to pivot, move the ladder against another wall, things like that. The main thing is not to go into being consumed by negative emotions. And this is what's happening the vast majority of people. They're consumed with fear throughout 2020, and it continues now in 2021 as things only appear to get worse. People are consumed with frustration, with anger, with upset, with anxiety, all these negative emotions. And I've had my own range of these emotions in the last 10 months in particular. But I've seen that once I get in control of it and get control of my emotional state, I can then push on with what I'm trying to do. And like I said, work around situations. So I want you in 2021 to put a bigger focus than ever in your life on creating a mindset, a strong and penetrable mindset. I want you to put a focus on getting control of mind, body, and health. I want you to put a focus on self-care, raising your confidence, your self-esteem, your self-image, all these different areas, because now more than ever, it is important for you to have a powerful, strong mindset. Your mind is a control tower. Remember that. It controls absolutely everything. Okay. I want you to learn how to control your thought process. I want you to control your emotional state, because when you get consumed with negative emotions, and in particular things like fear and anger, rationale, logic, good decision making, all that goes out the window. It's very hard to see exactly what's really going on. When you're in that kind of emotional state, it's very hard to make proper decisions that will serve you and serve your goals when you're in that kind of emotional state. And like on this particular episode of the Mind Body Health Podcast, I want to give you some very simple tips on how to kick ass this year. And, as I said, you might think, how are you going to kick ass? Look at all the things that are limiting you, all the challenges. They're there. You can't control a lot of them. You can control to some degree some of them. But what you can 100% control is your decisions, your reactions. And that is the first simple tip, to become very mindful and self-aware that you control your reactions to every single situation you're in. Every time you're hit a blow, you react. You react in a bad way or a good way. It's like I always stress to people, like in my life, I've had a pretty roller coaster life up to this point. I've had some incredible highs, but I've also had some incredible dark times. But it was how I reacted. Even like in 2020, like I was impacted in every possible way, financially, my business, health-wise to some degree, which I counteracted as much as I could, personally, massively, all these different things. But it was how I reacted. Each time I got knocked down, I got back up. And like I always say, you can knock me down as often as you want, but you were never, ever getting a knockout. And I want you to adopt that type of mentality. Take the knockdowns. You will get knocked down, but get back up again. Like I said, your reaction is key. So most important tip I can give you, even if I just stop right now and said that to you, allow yourself to be knocked down. It's going to happen. Accept it, but react in a positive way. Now, as I said, your mindset is everything. Your mindset is absolutely key, okay? We need to feed our minds what it needs, like with our bodies. Most people are poisoning their bodies. Look at the toxic crap that people are putting in, whether it be in liquid or food form. But while that's poisoning our brains as well, also what's poisoning our brains and our minds is what we're feeding it in terms of information or who we listen to or what we listen to. So when people, for instance, throughout their whole lives have been doing this anyway, but accelerated in 2020, listening to the news, listening to negative media, listening to complete garbage on the media and even on social media, and also through people who were consumed with fear and, just around negative people all the time, around people who only saw bad, around people who didn't help them, didn't help their anxiety, their worry, their fear, none of these kind of things. People are just not good to be around. People who didn't really see the situation for what it was or what it is and never ever do. And they don't really do anything with their own life and stuff like that. Like there's lots of kinds of people like that who don't really serve us, okay? So you need to work on what you're feeding your mind in terms of information. So what are you listening to? What are you watching? This is what you consume, what you read. Read stuff that uplifts you. Read stuff that educates you, that motivates, inspires you. Listen to stuff that uplifts you, motivates, inspires you. Watch stuff that uplifts you, motivates, and inspires you. Stop listening, reading, and watching stuff that takes you down. Stop reading, watching stuff that, for most part, like media and so on, is just complete lies, fake news, over-exaggeration, overhype, propaganda, fear-mongering, all that kind of stuff. And I'm not talking about just in 2020. This has been the case for a long, long time. What we see and what we're told is not always the reality. Of course, at times it might be to some degree or to partly, but a lot of time it's not the true reality. It's one angle. We're just being hit with one angle and it's all we're seeing. And it's always a bad angle. And when you're hit with a bad angle, it affects your emotional state, it takes you down. The best advice I ever got a long, long time ago was to stop watching TV, to get rid of TV even. Now, I've had times in the last, 15 years where I haven't had a TV, but even if it's there, I don't really watch it. Like I'll watch some sport for time out. I'll watch some comedies, that type of stuff, or movies. It's escapism. That's my only use of TV. I don't watch brain numbing TV. I don't watch the news, don't listen to news, don't read the news in the newspaper. If I ever have a newspaper in my hands, it's the sports pages I'm reading. So, watch what you're listening to. Be very careful about the people who are around you. Like I said, your immediate circle, including your family and who you see as your friends. Are those toxic people, or are those people who lift you up and who are there to champion you and push you on and to help you in achieving the life you want? Because remember, the life experience you want, the vision you have can be yours, but only if you take the right action. It's very hard to take the right action and create that life when you've got people who are pulling you down all the time, when you've got people who are just toxic and negative energy. And even when you're near them, you start to feel lower vibrationally and energetically. You need to surround yourself with people who lift you up, people who are ambitious, people who do make something of their lives, people who don't live in fear. Instead, they live life instead of existing in fear, like so many people right now are doing. Majority of people are literally existing in fear. Majority of people are consumed so much with negative emotions, they honestly may as well be dead because they are not living, okay? We have to live life. We have to live life. It's beautiful. Life is beautiful. Time is beautiful. Time is so precious, but we have no idea how much we're going to get. And we don't want to have regrets. And the only thing you should fear in life, like I repeatedly say, the only thing you should fear in life is regret. The only thing. And at the moment, there are the vast majority of people on this planet who are going to have enormous regrets in a couple of years and at the end of their lives. I don't want that to be you. So work on your emotional state. Look at what you feed your mind. Okay. And as well, this even ties in with stuff like meditation and yoga, breathing exercise, all that kind of stuff that works on calming your mind, giving your brain a bit of breathing space, calming you, allowing you to be able to see, what to say, is it the woods from the trees? I think that's what it is, whatever the saying is, to be able to see stuff clearer, questioning things, having the ability to question, having the ability to decipher information. Okay, because one thing we should never lose is that questioning ability that we have as children. So that's one simple tip. The other thing is, at the start of every year, people have New Year's resolutions. They set these resolutions, they have these big goals, and they go, I'm going to do it this year. And usually they do it every single year. It's the same repetitive thing. Majority of people, it's to do with their body shape and going on diets and losing fat, losing weight. Other people, as well, or instead of, it's like to do with their job. Maybe they're going to change jobs. Vast majority of people never do anything. Or if they start into something, they don't continue it. We have to set targets that we are going to work on to achieving. And, while it's okay having New Year's resolutions, you need to be realistic about it. Most of the people are going from A to B, and B is just a gigantic step from where A is. What matters is that you focus on what is the next step. You focus on being better. I stress this all the time. This is why it shouldn't be just the 1st of January you think like this. You should think about this on the 17th of March, 15th of June, 2nd of October, 3rd of November. Every single day, you should be thinking, what can I do to be better? And I want you to do the exact same thing now, as we proceed through this year, but do it as you proceed through your life. Your ultimate goal should be happiness. That should be your goal, happiness. When people are truly happy, they feel at a whole different level. You feel like a totally different person. You feel elevated. You feel empowered. You feel wonderful. If you ever think of times you've truly been happy in your life, but it's trying to get that to be a consistent thing within your life, that is what you live. And we all have the power to live that, but we have to go for the things that we want out of life. We have to like how we look. So that's how we, our level of body fat, for instance, our level of tone. So we need to make sure we're exercising regularly. We need to make sure we're drinking plenty of water. We're eating healthy, nutritious food, preferably plant-based food, because it's going to be far more nutritious for you, and it's easier to keep, fat levels low as well. We need to control our sleeping habits. We need to control, again, the positive mind feed. We need to control the circle of people who's around us. We need to control our consistent action taken towards our various goals in our life. So we are in control of that. And that's what we have to keep realizing and reminding ourselves. And we need to take personal responsibility for our lives. We need to stop making excuses. There are no excuses. It's a choice. Everything's a choice. Every situation you're in, how you react to it is a choice. So we need to really take ownership of that. And I want you to take ownership of that this year more than ever in your life, because again, 2020 for me highlighted just how little the vast majority of people take personal responsibility for their lives. Like, if people are gripped in fear, supposedly because of a supposedly killer virus, and then you've lines and lines of queues of cars queuing up for a McDonald's. Now, where's the sense in that? Where is the sense in that? We have to take personal responsibility for our health, and it starts with us and our decisions and what we're consuming, both into our body and into our mind. And we can control that. And at the end of the day, it's like with that whole area, your immune system is your defense. Your immune system is your personal army. Are you strengthening or weakening your immune system every single day? These are the simple steps for you to take. If you want to not get sick very often, if you want to avoid having a disease, or at least recover from a disease faster, and if you want to experience optimal health, well, then you need to eat more fruits and vegetables, ideally grown your own or organic, or at least give them a good wash, and eat a huge amount of them. You need to eat whole foods, real proper whole foods. You need to limit meat and animal product intake, and ideally bring it to zero and just eat plant-based whole food, because a lot of people who eat vegan are not necessarily healthy because they're eating all processed food. Processed food is processed food. It's not good for you. Okay. So you need to focus on eating real food. So again, move steps in that direction. Like when I say simple steps to kick to 2021's ass, that's what I mean. Just take steps in these directions I'm saying to you, step by step by step. There is no magic bullet. There is no magic plan. There is no magic potion or pill. There's none of that. Ignore all that garbage that is put out there all the time, because it does not exist. What exists is your ability and your power to take steps forward in the right direction. Your ability to take personal responsibility, your ability to realize that in every situation, it is a choice what I do, how I react. And it's your ability to no longer make excuses for every situation. So it's up to you to do this. So, I urge you and I stress to you that it's on you how your life goes this year. And whenever you listen to this, if you listen to this 10 years after recorded, the message is still the same. If you want to improve any area of your life, you need to take positive, progressive action towards it. That could be a tiny step, it could be a big step, but the main thing is it's consistent steps. And as I said, how we feed ourselves, both in terms of our body and also our mind, will determine everything, because it makes our brain work, it makes our body work. All these different things are key. How we feel about ourselves. If you don't like how you look, if you don't like how you feel, if you've no energy and you're lethargic and you've a low emotional state, well, how are you going to go out there and change your life? Whereas if you feel high vibrationally, energetically, you like how you look, you feel pride in how you look, think you feel sexy and stuff like that, all that kind of side of things. When you feel good within yourself, you can do more because you've that confidence, that self-esteem, the self-image. And this is why it's so important for everybody to take away the aesthetic element. Of course, we want to look great. And it'd be great to look like a magazine cover, a fitness magazine cover. Everyone would love that. But you don't have to go that extreme. At least be lean, at least be fit, at least be healthy, at least be strong. Everyone's the power to do that. And when you do that and do it in the right way, you will also be very healthy. You will experience longevity, you'll experience energy, you will experience great health, you will experience, a lack of disease in your life, a lack of pain, different lack of ailments, all these things. Now, it doesn't mean you'll never get them, but you give yourself the best possible chance of it. Like my life has evolved for over 25 years, constantly looking at ways to get better and healthier. And, because I want to live a long, healthy, independent life. And, I can't remember last time I had a cold. I don't get sick. I don't, rarely get tiredness of very extreme periods of stress and things like that, or training regimes. It's normal tiredness. I don't have it because of poor nutrition. I don't have it because of poor sleep. Don't have it because of a poor mindset. Doesn't mean I don't have times I have struggle with mindset. We all have that depending on what's going on. But I'm every single day feeding my body what it needs and feeding my mind what it needs. And I'm every single day looking at ways to improve what I'm feeding my body and feed my mind so that I can perform at an even higher, more optimal level. Because, this is what we should be striving for. Optimal performance. Optimal performance. You can have a high performing life. We all can, but it's up to ourselves. So I want you to start simple things, very simple. Have a better sleeping pattern in terms of have a set bedtime, a set waking time, have a pre-sleep routine, because the quality of your sleep has a huge impact on the next day. And I already did a podcast. One of the first podcasts actually was on sleep. But it has a huge impact on how you feel the next day. Think of when you feel tired, your mood's not great, is it? And if your mood's not great, your energy typically isn't great either. And how does your day typically go? Not too good, no? But the days you feel very awake and energized and empowered and stuff, it's a totally different day. Even a 30-minute period on a day like that kicks ass on an entire day when you haven't had a good sleep and you're in poor mood and poor energy. So your sleeping habits are massive, and there's loads of tips with it, but your pre-sleep routine is key in getting away from technology. Make sure you're moving your body. If you sit a lot for your work, which most people do these days, every 40 minutes, an hour, or at least every hour and a half, get up, move around, do a bit of stretching, get some fresh air, all that kind of stuff. Make sure you're exercising on a regular basis in terms of structured exercise programs. Make sure you're doing resistance training at least twice a week, even just for health and bone density efforts. And also, if you're going for performance, that's a different thing again. Make sure you're taking, as I said, good nutrition. Focus more and more on going whole food, moving more and more away from processed food. Eat as much kind of raw food as you can. The more you cook food, the less enzymes are in them. Doesn't mean don't cook food. I cook a lot of my food. I don't eat all raw. Raw for me would be where the optimum level to be, and maybe I'll get to someday, but it's not something I'm focused on definitely getting to. I just eat as much kind of raw stuff as I possibly can. Get smoothies into you. Predominantly your nutrition should be fruits and vegetables as much as you possibly can, with some legumes and grains and nuts, seeds, that type of food, and good fats from avocados, nut butters, seeds, any of these foods, and get positive mind feed in. I cannot stress enough to you the importance of positive mind feed. It could be just watching a YouTube video in the morning, reading a few pages of a book, listen to an audiobook, any of these little things. Like when I walk the dog, or I'm training, or I'm doing work that doesn't take huge concentration, I'm always listening to something. I have something playing. I might be half listening, but subconsciously I'm listening to it. So it's going in there. I'm very careful of who I associate with and work with and hang around with, because I don't want people to take down my energy. Those people who maybe I need to interact with for various reasons, personally or professionally, that do that to me. I just need to get myself in the right zone when I'm going to be in their company, or I very much limit my exposure to them. So remember, we're in control. Every situation that we are posed with, we have to take responsibility for it. We have a decision to make. It's a choice. It always is a choice. So focus on that and own that, okay? And in general with your life, make sure, we all have massive to-do lists. Focus every single day on 1 to 3 priorities. So either the night before or the morning of, decide on 1 to 3 priorities that are the priorities that are most important action steps you can take that day to move you forward towards whatever goals. And then focus on those. And if you get 1, 2, or 3 of them done, that means that day has been a success. Have your general routines, like your morning routines or evening routines. routines around exercise and sleep and nutrition and work and all these, but have 1 to 3 priorities that move you forward. So every day you're moving forward, and that's really empowering. When you tick it off at the end of your day that you did the 3 priorities or even just one of them, it's empowering. Like, I recommend to you, write down 3 wins every day. Every evening, write down 3 wins from the day, write down 3 gratitudes from the day. Again, mindset, think about it. The more we feed our mind with positive, energizing impulses and information, the more we're going to succeed. It's just common sense. But unfortunately, most people, they only focus on things they haven't got done. They only get negative mind feed from the stuff they consume on the TV or the radio or newspapers or magazines. And they only get negative mind feed and negative energy from toxic people that they spend time with or communicate with. So, there's so much that we can change in life. I'm at a level where, I'm experiencing a fairly optimal life, but there's always room for improvement. And I see it every single year. Like, even this year, I'm improving on last year in various aspects. And many people would see the way I live as, being far reaching from what they're at. But remember, it's 25 years of me working on myself every single day, looking at how I can improve. And that's why I stress to you, like, I'm the same as you. We're just people, but it's about our choices. I've made certain choices and I've reacted certain ways in the last 25 years that have taken me to where I am now. You have done the same. So if you're not happy where you are right now, it's up to you to change it. So start changing it now. Make this year the year for you. Make this year the year that self-care became the priority. Make this year the year that you move forward towards your goals. Make this year the year that you finally grew to love yourself and have proper confidence and self-esteem and self-image and all these different things. Make this your year. It can be your year. So, like, there's a load of little tips there as a stress, simple tips to kick this year's ass. And we can do it all the time. The thing I want to stress to you more than ever is that time is precious, and live in daily fear of regret. Keep asking yourself, if I die right now, will I be consumed with regrets? And, let that drive you on, because I guarantee you, for the vast majority of people, if they were to die today, they would be filled with regrets. Do not allow that happen, because you do have a choice. You do have a choice. Okay. So I hope this edition of the Mind Body Health podcast with me, Dave Sheahan, has been of benefit to you. Love to get your feedback. Thank you for listening. Share this out to far and wide. If you're watching Apple iTunes, make sure you give a rating and a review. Your feedback is super important to me. Keep letting me know the questions you'd like me to cover, topics you'd like me to address, and also the guests you'd like me to interview on future episodes of the Mind Body Health podcast. And have a good one, and just focus, as I said, on making this year your year, the year of you. Let's kick its ass.